so great to see you. I haven't had a video by myself in such a long time, but I just wanted to share with you some magical moments in hospice. And yeah, mainly magical moments in hospice. I also have a little something from my aunt who had a magical moment as well. So thank you for joining me in this short little video. Um, I want to just say what I've noticed here is that there is a new age arriving, believe it or not, in the regular old medical community in my hospice work. Um, so a few weeks ago, I was with a patient, and little did I know I was going to examine her. I'd say examine her. I mean, she was almost to that actively dying phase, which means usually you have 3 to 7 days left. She wasn't really eating or drinking, but she was quite alert. Anyway, I was looking at her hands, and guess what was in her hands? Crystals. Crystals at her feet, crystals in her hands, crystals on her heart, crystals on her tummy. And I mean, there were crystals all over the place. And I actually couldn't even, she was holding on to these crystals so tight. It was, I'm not sure, but she was really holding on to them 24 hours a day. She was holding on to these, almost like charging pads or something. Um, and she really didn't even want to let go. It was amazing. But that showed me a little bit when somebody's holding on so tight to something, shows me about some anxiety. But apparently her daughter was a psychic reader and had a whole room of crystals. So her daughter was changing out the crystals every night. So that was nice. And she was also going to plan to have her, she loved lipstick. She was going to have lips, her favorite cover color, Revlon red something, red bamboo or something like that, um, cremated with her, which is crazy, right? Okay, so that was interesting. And then yesterday, I went to go see a patient, and there is such thing as music thantology, which means it's usually with a harp. um, the harpist will play the harp in rhythm, in harmony with the person who is dying and with their breathing. And so it'll match. You'll try to match the breathing first, and then you move it into, if the person is breathing fast, for instance, they'll first match it, but then they'll slow it down so that the idea is to have the person's breathing slow down and everything to be more calm. So that's music thantology. It's beautiful. It really does help change the whole energy of the room and the person. And it's a wonderful thing, a ritual to do before someone's transitioning. Now, the other day, I was visiting a home, and they had singing bowls. So there was the daughter's best friend had come in, and she'd known the patient, who was only about 60 years old. She came in with her 4 singing bowls. She played for hours, and daily. I mean, for a few days, several days. So that was lovely, and that helped calm the patient down. So that's another way to do it. So it was nice to go make visits for people that are kind of like my tribe, right? Now, they don't have to be my tribe for me to enjoy my visits, but I guess I'm seeing a trend a bit. When the trends I'm seeing are people are becoming more aware of spirit, more aware of complementary therapies to help people transition, such as using crystals. I think this is just, the crystals to me felt like energy, clearing energy. And for the singing bowls, another thing that's clearing energy. So we're peeling back the energy layers and the attachment to what's on earth so that we may lift off and fly, may gather our wings to heaven. All right. So now, then, yesterday was my mother's anniversary date of transition 51 years ago, and it was on a Sunday. Yesterday was a Sunday. And in her funeral service, the 23rd Psalm was recited, and it is also written out in her whatever they call that for when they give to the funerals, at the funerals. Well, my aunt, who still goes to church, went, and she goes, I'm not sure. I think she might go Episcopalian, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, they had a service yesterday, and they were reading the 23rd Psalm, which is kind of unusual. And my aunt thought, a God wink, a message from heaven. So that is actually confirmation. My mom was there. My mom knew what was happening, and had message from heaven. Everything is okay. So we love to have these messages from heaven as a human, just as a confirmation. We know in our hearts that people are okay, but it's still nice to get something tangible, like the Psalm, the 23rd Psalm, or something like that. We've also heard of pennies from heaven, right? One of the signs the spirit world brings us are coins, dropping coins from the ethers. How they do this, I can't wait to find out how this is manifested. But yesterday, when I was making a pronouncement visit, in other words, going to see a person who had just passed, pronouncing that at the time of death, okay? And this lady she was in a nursing home named Heidi. She had a normal morning. She was only about 60 years old as well. I mean, everybody I'm seeing is younger. To me, either I'm getting older and everybody else is getting younger, but I also do think there's a lot of 30s and 40s and 50-year-olds nowadays. So anyway, she got up for breakfast. They got her up. Now, I think they have to transfer her from bed to chair, but they did get her out. And then they even brought her in the shower on the shower bench, cleaned her up, put her back in bed. They came in later and checked on her, and she had passed. Then they called me. Now, when I arrive, I see the shower bench on the side of the bed, on the side that's away from the door. And when I look at the shower bench, I thought, well, that's something weird on the shower bench. And I look, and because I'm going to go sit on it because that's a good place for me to sit. There's not a lot of room in a nursing home. So I'm sitting on I was going to sit on it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there are dimes on the shower bench. 7 dimes. Now, they had just used the shower bench in the shower. Nobody, and especially in a nursing home, people aren't coming by. They don't have loose change. They're not just going to go over to the outside of the room and drop coins off. No, this was dimes from heaven. She passed, she left dimes from heaven. Now, how can somebody brand new, this is just like why I say we also can speak to the departed right away. No, I mean, it's magic. I don't know how it happens, but I believe, and I called the son and I told him, I said, she left you dimes. Now, I know she has a grandchild, and I need to find out if the grandchild is 7 years old. I'm not sure what the significance about 7, but if you do find pennies or dimes, it seems to be pennies and dimes that I hear about the most, save them, look at the year, notice if there's significance in the year, but just keep a little jar for all the dimes or the pennies that you find, knowing that these are signs from heaven and knowing that everything is okay. All right. How beautiful. I've never seen manifesting that quick, and I was totally surprised. This is also the day that the anniversary date of my mom's death. I'm wondering if there's somehow some magic all involved in this. I don't know, but I have a feeling maybe, because I had another magical experience same day. I did another death pronouncement. I arrived, and the lady was she was 64. The story goes, and her name is Barbara. The story goes, she and her husband, they were both PhDs in geology. They were driving to see his daughter in, I don't know, somewhere in Texas. And they had a tragic auto accident. The husband and the dog died instantly, but she was left with traumatic brain injury now for the last 2 years, and not even able to hold her head up. I mean, these kind of stories make you be appreciative for every day that you have. And you think, okay, let's make sure you do something fun every day. Make sure you do something you enjoy. Anyway, the thing about the story is, when I was walking in, music started playing on the radio. Now the music just turned on the radio. It was a flute music. Now, and I look on the wall, and there she is, a portrait of her playing the flute. Ooh, I'm getting chills on that. And then a facility nurse came in, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, where's this flute music?" She thought it was coming from outside of the room. And we were just both like, "Wow, she's playing the flute for us now, or giving us a sign that she's okay. She's made it. She's giving us the flute music. She is okay." Whoa. And then, what was so beautiful. So I had to wait in her room for quite a while, because I had to wait for the medical examiner to come because of the traumatic brain injury and all this. So I got to look at the pictures on her wall. She had lots of dog. Her dog, her beloved dog, was a husky that had passed before her, and then her husband. And it was just nice. And then the music continued, but there was no more flute music. I mean, it was the flute music for just a few minutes when I arrived. I would say maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. And then it went to regular classical music. So very interesting, you guys. How does Spirit do that? I would love to know what you think about that, and your signs from heaven, and maybe your wings to heaven messages that you've received. So anyway, thank you all so much for joining, and it'd be great to see you this week. I'll be with Mel. We're going to be on Wednesday evening working with the power animals, or the spirit animal guides. So I'm going to have a place where you can leave questions. And then also Wednesday evening, a little earlier at 5 p.m. Central, we'll be doing the healing hour with Alice and Kelly. So blessings, everybody, and I will see you soon. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and the rest of the week. Bye-bye now.